Okay, today we're predicting the New York Giants record. So looking at the schedule, they do not have an easy schedule. And looking at their roster-wise, they're not that talented. Their skill position players are not good, even though they drafted Hyatt. Paris Campbell, I think, is overrated. I don't think he's that good. Um, and I think he's going to get injured. I think their whole offense is relying pretty much on Saquon, and I'm worried that Saquon might not play for them because they don't, have a contract uh, for him yet. Their defense, their front seven is pretty good with players like Dexter Lawrence, Ojulari, Thibodeau, who should take a second-year leap. But their defense is pretty much young players who have yet to have like a all-pro season, and their secondary is nothing to be special other than Xavier McKinnon. So I do think that their team is a bit overrated because of last year, which I think last year was more of a fluke, like the Vikings were. But they beat the Vikings, who was the more fluky team, and people talk about the Vikings, but I think the Giants aren't going to do good this year. Okay, I'm just saying out there if you want to leave the video, any Giants fan out there. And yeah, so you have your first game versus the Cowboys. It's a divisional rival game, so not sure how that's gonna go. But the Cowboys, their talent is just way too much. Their off Dallas's offense with CD, Cooks, and Gallup, and with Pollard now leading the way, although Pollard's probably not going to be a huge factor in that Dallas defense. I think it's going to be too much for that Giants offensive line, so I'm taking the Cowboys here. And then you have Denver versus the Cardinals. Cardinals do have home field advantage, but teams are fresh so far in the year. Cardinals are just not a good team. Kyler Murray is most likely not playing. Their run game is calling. Their offensive line is trash. So Baker is probably going to be out by the season start. So I'm taking the Giants here. Saquon, if he plays, will be enough to just run through the Cardinals' defense. And you have week 3, a Thursday night or a short week. Short week. They have to play in the 49ers in the San Francisco. They're probably going to stay in the West Coast, but trust me, going from Phoenix, Arizona to Santa Clara or San Francisco, California is a long trip. It's like a 2 to 3 hour flight. So trust me on that. So I think Niners just too much of a home field advantage, too much talent. I'm going to take the Niners here. And you have Denver versus the Seahawks on Monday night. So they do have a mini bye. Um, they have like 10 days, over 11 days. Seahawks, another very explosive offense, but Seahawks don't have a great offensive line, so the Giants should take advantage of that. And the Seahawks defense is not great. They're really bad in the run, and I don't think they improved enough. So Saquon, if he plays, dominates. And Daniel Jones will be his usual self. So I'm going to take the Giants here. And you have Denver versus the Dolphins. They have to again travel. Damn, that's a really tough. They have like 3 of the 4 games are road games. But the Dolphins, I think their offense is way too explosive, even more explosive than the Seahawks. So I think that alone will probably get the Dolphins the win. But the Dolphins also should have a better defense. So I'm gonna take the Dolphins here. Then you have Denver versus the Bills, another very tough team. I'm gonna take the Bills. It's just this stretch is just really tough. They have 4 or 5 road games. So I'm gonna take the Bills. And you have Denver versus the Commanders. I think Commanders could definitely cause a problem for the Giants. They had a tie and a win last year for the Giants, but Commanders do have a very good defensive line that could slow down Saquon, but I think the Commanders' offense will be just too bad to make an impact. So I'm gonna take the Giants here. And then you have Denver versus the Jets. Jets, they're coming off a bye. There's going to be no home field advantage. I think Jets defense is going to be too much for the Giants offense to handle, and Jets offense should do better against the Giants defense than the Giants offense against the Jets defense. So I'm going to take the Jets here. And you have another West Coast road game against the Raiders. Raiders, they're not great, but they do have a huge home field advantage. Garoppolo won't make too many mistakes, so he probably won't do great. Josh Jacobs is definitely a problem, but I think the Giants defense can handle it. But Devontae Adams, I think, will take over the game. So, and the Raiders defense is not great, but I'm still going to take the Raiders here. You have Denver versus the Cowboys. Like I said, this could be an upset, could be a divisional game, but I think Cowboys are just way too much talent, so I'm taking the Cowboys here. Then you have Denver versus the Commanders. Commanders, for some, it's a division. I'm gonna predict a split, so I'm gonna take the Commanders here, and then you have them versus the Patriots. Patriots are coming off a bye, but Giants defense should be able to handle a not very good Patriots offense, and Giants do have home field advantage, so I'm taking the Giants here. Then you have your bye, and then you have them playing against the Packers. I'm not sure how Jordan Love is gonna do, so this one's kind of a bit of a mystery. Giants could have a potentially good defense or a scrappy defense that could cause problems on a weak Packers offensive line. And the Packers defense could be good, but I'm gonna still take the Giants here since they're coming off a bye. You have them against the Saints. Saints have a huge home field advantage there. Carr is good, but that Saints offense, especially led by Dennis Allen and whoever their OC is not going to be good. I think that Saints defense is overrated, so I'm going to take the Giants here. You have them versus the Eagles. Last year, the Eagles blew them out, and talent-wise, they should do it again, so I'm taking the Eagles. You have them versus the Rams. Rams have to travel to the East Coast. Rams are pretty much rebuilding this year. I'm going to take the Giants. And then you have them versus the Eagles again. Eagles swept the Giants 3 times last year, and I see that happening again. Eagles are just too talented. The Giants just aren't on the level of the Eagles yet, so I'm taking the Eagles. So in the end, at the Giants going 7-10, 1-5 in the division, 5-3 at home, and 2-7 away.